Hi, I'm Vincent, and in this video I will make the most complete guide you will ever find on Dripify to do some LinkedIn prospecting. So you will see step by step how to connect your LinkedIn and email accounts, and of course I will show you the good settings to optimize your deliverability and reply rate, then how to find B2B leads with the verified emails, and I will take a real example where I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find decision makers, and how to get all the informations of your leads, like the first name, last name, company name, LinkedIn role, and even the verified emails of your leads, which is perfect when you want to send cold emails. Then how to create your first outreach campaign where you send LinkedIn messages and cold emails in the same sequence. And finally, how to reply to your leads directly in Dripify. So basically, I will cover everything you need to start sending LinkedIn messages and cold emails, and I'm sure it will help you to generate leads for your business. So let's start. Alright, so the first step of this tutorial is to create an account. The good news is that with Dripify, you have a free trial. So it means that you don't need to pay anything to start sending LinkedIn messages and cold emails and book your first sales calls. And now if you use the first link in the description, you will get an extended free trial and you support my work. So it's perfect when you want to do some LinkedIn prospecting. So as I told you, once you click the link in the description, you will be on this page. And now to create your free account, you just need to click here on Start for free. Then here you can create your free account. And in my case, I will sign up with Google. Now to connect your LinkedIn account, you need to enter your LinkedIn email and LinkedIn password. Then I click on Sign in. Alright, so now to connect my LinkedIn account to Dripify, I've just received a code from LinkedIn on my phone. So I type the code and then I click on Submit. Once you've created your account, you will have access to Dripify. So here on the left, you see all the features that you can use. So here, for example, you have a dashboard, and basically on this page, you have access to your statistics. For example, number of connection requests sent, number of messages sent, email sent, profile viewed, and so on. Then here you have campaigns. So this is where you can create and manage your campaigns. Here in Inbox, you can see and reply to your leads directly in Dripify. In Leads, you have the list of all your leads. And here in Teams, you can connect multiple LinkedIn accounts directly in Dripify. So it's very convenient when you have a sales team, for example. And now the first thing I want to show you is how to connect your email account to Dripify. So it's useful basically when you want to send some cold emails. So if you want to connect an email account, you just need to click here, then My Account. And here on this page, you see that my LinkedIn account is well connected to Dripify. And here you see Email Account. So if you want to connect your email account, you just need to click here, Connect Email. Then here you can choose the email provider you use. So in my case, I use Gmail, but if you use Microsoft, you have the option here. So let's click on Gmail. Then let's select this email account. Continue. I check this box and I click on Continue. All right, so now if I scroll, you see that I have one email account connected to Dripify. So basically, it means that I can send some cold emails. So now that you have your LinkedIn and email account connected to Dripify, I want to show you the good settings. So for that, let's go back on Dripify. Here we click in Settings. Then here, Working Hours. And here, basically, you can choose when you want to send your messages. So from Monday to Friday. I don't recommend to send messages or cold emails during the weekend. And here you can select from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I just want to modify for Friday. So let's say from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. like this. Then very important, you have here the time zone. and it's not your time zone, but the time zone of your leads. So in my case here, it's Paris. So if I want to target people based in the US, yeah, for example, US Eastern, perfect, especially for example, if I want to target people based in New York. So I click here and then I click on save. And by doing that, I make sure that I reach out to people at the good timing, so from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right, so now the next step is to create an outreach campaign. So if you want to do that, you go here in campaigns and then create campaign. And now what we need to do is to add some leads. And for that, I will use a LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find some leads. So let's click on add leads. And here we will use upload CSV file. So now let's go on a LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So it's basically an access to the LinkedIn database. It's a LinkedIn paid plan, but you have a 30-day free trial. Then on the left, you have all the filters you can use to identify decision makers. And here on the right, you will see my results. So basically my leads. So let's say, for example, that I want to target people who are head of marketing. So for that, I type head of marketing within quotes. And why within quotes? It's because I will get better results. Then I don't click here on include, but instead I press enter. And here you see on the right that I have people with head of marketing in their job title. Then the next filter I recommend to use is this one, company headcount. So if you want to target small and medium businesses, you can say, for example, that you want to target from 11 to 200 people, or if you want, you can target big enterprises. But for this tutorial, let's say that I only want to target from 51 to 200. Then you have this filter geography. And here, for example, you can target people based in the US, or you can narrow down your search and say, for example, that you only want to get people based in New York, for example. So New York, United States, perfect. Finally, the last filter I recommend to use, especially if you are doing some LinkedIn prospecting, it's this filter posted on LinkedIn. And why it's a good filter? It's because you target people who are active online. So basically, it means that you will get a higher reply rate when you reach out to these people. And now you see that with these 4 filters, I have a bit more than 100 results. And if I check my results, you see that I have people who are head of marketing in New York. So it's perfect. So once you're happy with the search and you want to export these people and get their emails, so unfortunately, you can't do that natively with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And that's why you need to use a third-party tool like Give Me Leads to have a button like this one, Extract Leads. So if you want to have this button, you can go on givemeleads.io, or you just need to click the link in the description. Then you click here on Start for Free, and you can create your free account. And if you want to have this button, you need to install the Give Me Leads Chrome extension. So for that, very easy, add to Chrome, and then add extension. So once you install the Chrome extension, you will see this button. And then once you are ready to export these people, all you need to do is to click here on Extract Leads. Then you will be redirected to your Give Me Leads account. Here you can give the number of leads you want to export. So let's say 110. Here just below, you can choose if you want to get the emails of your leads or not. So basically, if you want to send cold emails, it's useful to have the emails. And finally, all you need to do is to click here on Export Leads. And now you see that my export is currently running. I just want to rename it with the filters I've used on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So I target people who are head of marketing in New York, and the company size is between 51 to 200 people. And now I just need to wait a little bit. All right, so the export is done. So let's click here on download CSV. So here is my list of 110 leads, which is perfect. Now on top, you have all the information you need to reach out to these people. So you have the first name, last name, LinkedIn URL. So perfect when you want to send LinkedIn messages. You have the emails of your leads. So same, perfect when you want to send a cold email. You have the job title, location, and actually you have much more information. For example, you have the company website. So this one might be useful when you want to personalize your messages using AI, company location, company industry, and so on. So when you export your leads with Give Me Leads, we do two things. So first, we clean the data. So for the first name, last name, and company name, you don't have any problems with capital letters or with a rocket emoji like this in the first name. So when you want to say hi first name, you want to have a clean data and not a rocket emoji like this. And now the second thing we do is to check if your leads match your filters or not. So that's why on the left, you see two columns, matches filters and invalid reason. So when it's true, it means that the leads perfectly matches all your filters. But if I scroll, you see here false. And here you have the reason. So let's check, for example, wrong job title. Yeah, we have community and network. Here we have senior producer. Here, director of content. So basically, these people are not exactly head of marketing. So what you can do with this feature is to decide to keep some leads if they are still relevant, or you can just decide to remove all of them like this. And by doing that, you make sure that you only reach out to people who perfectly match all your filters. And now that you have a list of leads like this one, the next step is to upload it directly in Dripify. So for that, let's go back on Dripify. Here we select upload CSV file. Next. And now we just need to drag and drop the list of leads on my computer. Then we click on next. Here you have some options to filter your leads, but it's not very important. So we click on next. And now we can give a name for our list of leads. And I want to say head of marketing in New York. Then create a list. All right, so here you see my list of leads. Now, of course, if you want, you can add another list of leads. So for that, you click here on add a new list and you can upload a new list of leads. But for now, it's okay for this tutorial. So I click on next. So now the next step is to create our sequence. So for that, you have two choices. The first one is to use a template, and you see that you have many options that you can use. And the second option you have is this one, custom campaign. So basically here, you can build your campaign from scratch. So for this tutorial, I will use custom campaign. So you see here that I can build my sequence. So what I recommend to do to get the best results when you use a tool like Dripify is to create a multi-channel outreach sequence. So it means that you will send LinkedIn messages and you will send cold emails in the same sequence. So LinkedIn and cold email. So how do we build a multi-channel outreach sequence that get replies? Of course, we want that. So the first thing we want to do is to check if we have the email of a lead. So email. If we don't have the email, what we want to do is to send LinkedIn messages. And now if we have the email of a lead, so yes, what we want to do is to send cold emails. And if you are more advanced, at the end, you can send LinkedIn messages as a follow-up, for example. Follow-up. So the first step of this sequence is to check if I have the email of a lead. If I don't have the email, I only send LinkedIn messages. But if I have the email of a lead, I send some cold emails. And if you want, you can add some LinkedIn messages at the end. And these LinkedIn messages are a follow-up. So let's build this sequence directly in Dripify. So as I told you, the first step is to check if we have the email of a lead. So if email available, no. So if I don't have the email, what I need to do is to send first a connection request. So send an invite. Then once my connection request on LinkedIn is accepted, I want to wait 2 days, apply, and then I send a first LinkedIn message. So message here. And now here I can write my LinkedIn message. So let's say, for example, hi first name. So if you want to use the variable first name, you just need to click here. And then you can write your LinkedIn message. So for example, let's say, do you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to build your list of leads? Like this. Then we click on save. And then we wait 3 days. And we send a first follow-up. So add message. And here you can write your follow-up. So let's say quick follow-up. Like this, I click on save. Then I wait 7 days. And it's the end of my sequence. But of course, what you can do is to send a second follow-up. But for this tutorial, it's the end of this sequence. So if I don't have the email of a lead, what I do is to send a connection request. Then once my connection request is accepted, I wait 2 days. Then I send my first LinkedIn message. Then I wait 3 days and I send my first follow-up. So this is the workflow that I recommend to use when you don't have the email of a lead. And now it's time to build the sequence when you have the email of a lead. So if email available, yes, then we want to send a cold email. So for that, I click here on add, and then we click on send email. So I click here, and now you see that I can write my cold email. And this time you see that I need to write a subject. So let's say subject export leads with verified emails. Here you have from which email account you want to send your cold email. So from this email account, it's perfect. And then you can write your cold email. So it works exactly the same way as the LinkedIn message. So hi first name. Do you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to build your list of leads? Perfect. If you want, at the end, you can write a signature. So for example, Vincent from Give Me Leads, or basically first name from company name. And in your cold email, make sure that you don't have any HTML. So you don't want to have a link, images, or whatever. You just want to have plain text in your cold email. Then if you want to have a preview, you can click here. So you see hi Bruce, and you see that the variable first name works well. Do you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to build your list of leads? Best Vincent from Give Me Leads. Perfect. I click on close, then save. And now I want to send a follow-up. So I want to wait 2 days. And then I send an email like this. And here you can write your follow-up. So export leads. And here you can write a follow-up. So for this tutorial, quick follow-up, just like this. I click on save. And now, quick tip to optimize your reply rate. I recommend to send LinkedIn messages at the end. So first cold email, 1 follow-up, and then we go on LinkedIn. So send an invite. And once the invite is accepted, we want to send 2 LinkedIn messages. So same, hi first name. Do you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator? And so on. We click on save. We wait 2 days. And then we send a last follow-up. So if I have the email of a lead, I send 1 cold email. Then I wait 2 days and I send a first follow-up. And then I move on LinkedIn. So I send a connection request. Then once my connection request is accepted, I wait 1 day and then I send 2 LinkedIn messages. So 1 message and then 1 follow-up. And with this workflow, we optimize our reply rate. So you see, this workflow is a multi-channel outreach sequence where you send LinkedIn messages and cold emails in the same sequence. Then once you're happy with your sequence, you go here and you click on Next. And now you can give a name for your campaign. So head of marketing for Give Me Leads. And finally, we click on Save and Launch. Now, this time, if I go here in campaigns, you see that my new campaign is currently active. Now, if you want to edit your campaign, you just need to click on it. And here you will see all your statistics. Here, if you want to add some leads, you just need to click here and select how you want to add some leads. And if you want to modify your sequence, you just need to click here and select what you want to modify. For example, this cold email. All right, so now that you've launched your first outreach campaign, you just need to wait a few minutes to a few hours, and then you will start getting some replies from your leads. And now I want to show you how to manage properly your replies directly in Dripify. So if you want to manage all your replies in just one place, you can do that in Dripify with this feature here called Inbox. So you click on it, and here you will see all your replies from your LinkedIn account. And if you click on a specific conversation, here you will have all the details. So what's interesting is that you can see all the conversation, but what you can do is to reply to the lead directly in Dripify. For example, here I can say, are you interested by Give Me Leads? And then I just need to click here and my message will be sent on LinkedIn. So basically with this feature, I don't need to waste my time to go on LinkedIn, check if I have a new reply and reply on LinkedIn, because I can do that directly on this tool. Now, if you want to manage properly all your replies, I strongly recommend you to use the tagging system. So basically, you can tag the leads based on their state. And here you have the 4 most common states. For example, you have people who are not interested. So basically, these people, you don't care. Then you have people who say, it's not the good timing, send me a message in 2 weeks. So for these people, you need to follow up. And now, most importantly, you will have people who are interested, and some of them will be very interested. And I recommend you to focus on these 2 types of people, because in 1 week or 1 month, they will be your clients. So that's why if a lead is interested or very interested, I strongly recommend you to focus on these people. So when you are on Dripify and you want to add a tag, you just need to click here on Add Tag. And here you see that by default, we have some tags, for example, ghosted, not interested, interested, meeting booked, and so on. So not interested, perfect for us. We have interested, so same. And here, high priority, it might be our warm leads. So here you see that by default, we don't have the tag wrong timing. So if you want to create this tag, you just need to click here on Add Tag, then wrong timing. And now you see that we have a tag wrong timing. So this tag is perfect when you want to follow up these people. So now let's say that you have a lead who is, let's say, high priority. Then we click on Save. And now you see the lead has the tag high priority here and here. So when you have a reply, I strongly recommend you to tag the lead. And then what you can do is to filter your leads based on the tag. And so for that, you just need to click here. And now let's say that you want to focus on people who are interested or people with the tag high priority, like this. And here you will have the list of all the people who are interested or high priority. So it's perfect when you want to focus on your best leads and don't waste your time with the leads who are not interested. So if you follow step by step this workflow, you will be able to generate leads for your business. Now, if you want to try Dripify for free and get the best free trial available, you have the link in the description. Now, if you want to easily export leads from LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can try Give Me Leads for free. And so for that, you can go on givemeleads.io or you have a link in the description. And now, if you struggle to identify your best leads, I've made a complete tutorial on how to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to identify decision makers. So if you want to see this video, you can click somewhere on the screen. It was Vincent. I wish you a nice day and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.